Hi guys, and welcome back to Creative Pet Keeping. My name is Kasha. I am your host, and welcome to the weekly show called Fish Fan Friday, where I give you updates on all of my tanks. Last week we didn't really have a good Fish Fan Friday because I had issues with the editing software, but then the next day an update came out and I kind of fixed that problem. Second thing, I know I'm not wearing any makeups today, so this is no makeup face, but today it is so hot, both outside and inside. I live in an uninsulated attic, so this place heats up like a greenhouse. It's horrible. I'm dying over here. So yeah, this is what's gonna happen today. Also, a fun fact: when I get out of the shower and my hair dries, I have wavy hair. So you get to learn a little bit about the natural Kasha in her natural state and her natural habitat of her room. Let's get started with Fish Fan Friday. Doo-doo-doo. So we're gonna get started with the 20-gallon tall tank, which has my little mini sorority of female bettas going on. And as you can see, it looks kind of crazy and cloudy because I moved one plant forward, and I have the clay soil base, and every time you pluck something out, all the clay base comes out and makes everything cloudy. So that's sort of what's happening here. All my plants, because of the extra CO2, have been growing like crazy. I actually moved out a ton of my water lettuce because I have so many growing up top, just so they can actually have some light, because this whole thing was completely blocked off. And because all my plants have been sort of growing like crazy, including the pothos plants that have been helping as well, I think, I don't want to jinx it guys, but I think I finally won the battle with the algae. There is almost no algae anywhere. It's gone. It's gone, guys. Let's get a little close up right here. The female koi seemed to have either gotten in a fight with someone, or she got scared and knocked herself into something, but she did sustain a little injury on her mouth. As you can see, there's like a little piece missing. So hopefully she's okay. I'm going to feed her in a bit. Make sure she's eating fine and whatnot. All the other ladies are doing really great. Every time I talk about this group of girls, I always get the Single Ladies Beyonce song playing in my head. That seems appropriate. But this tank is doing okay. It's sort of just wild. I don't really prune it or maintain it much. I just kind of let it do its thing. And that's kind of what's happening at the moment. Hopefully, in the future, I will be able to maybe possibly aquascape this tank. I would hope. We'll see what happens. But for now, I'm just finally happy that it has achieved some sort of balance and I don't have an algae apocalypse. The 20-gallon long, as always, is the same. Mr. Bubbles acts a little weird sometimes, but he's been eating still. He spends a lot of time laying there, kind of trying to move around like he's doing now. He eats and then just kind of doesn't really do anything. I don't know if he's getting better or worse, but in his condition, I mean, eventually it's just going to go downhill, so I don't want to get my hopes up too much. I'm just glad that he's still around and doesn't look too horrible. Demon Beta, on the other hand, is doing really well. He's his normal, spunky self and looks really healthy. He hangs out with the Endlers, and then Mr. Bubbles is with the guppies, which are breeding. My trumpet snail population has kind of exploded, and I've been moving a lot of my trumpet snails to the 20-gallon tall to kind of fix that. And I also need to, there's a plant that kind of floated up here. I need to sort of make an effort to organize and aquascape this a tiny bit, because right now this tank literally just have plants growing in it, and they're just growing and doing their plant stuff, but there is no rhyme and reason as to why things are placed the way they are, and I really would like to make this tank look a little more visually appealing. My 5.5 divided tank is kind of meh looking. There's the plaquette red male, and then the koi father is over there somewhere. The light in this tank is breaking. Only about half of it works at this point. I've tried fixing it and taking it apart, and it'll work for a little again, and then it breaks again. So I am at a point where, I don't know, just kind of letting this tank be the way it is for now. I also uncarded these guys. Usually they have a little cardboard right here so they don't see each other, so I can have a flare party. This guy is in my quarantine / breeding tank. He's still living in here. All these little plants right here, I keep forgetting what they're called. Not the duckweed. The duckweed's a tiny one, but I'm talking about the little, they look like lily pads. I keep forgetting what they're called, as well as some of the water lettuce. I moved from the 20-gallon tall in here, so he's kind of happy because now he has a more thickly planted house, which he's enjoying. And then he's having a fun flare party. This guy doesn't seem to really like to flare too much. When I had the male swapped, the koi male, this guy really enjoyed flaring at him. But this guy's like, he'll flare him a little bit, and then he's just like, whatever, I'm gonna do my own thing. So moving downwards, here are some of the koi babies. At this point, they're mostly koi that are left in here since I moved a lot of the dark ones into another tank. They're growing. Some of the big ones are getting a little aggressive, but because they have more room and there's more plants growing in here, that's been kind of helping manage it. So it's not bad. I don't feel like I need to take these guys out yet, so I think they will be fine staying in here longer. When I had the darker babies in here, the darker babies were, for some reason, more aggressive, and they were starting to pose a threat because they did nip each other a little bit. So in that case, I felt like I had to move them out. I actually want to feed them a little bit of their pellet food, so I'm gonna get some of that and plop that in here so I can have some food, and put a little tiny bit more on the other side over here so they can eat. So they're doing well. The reason why I haven't given you guys a specific date or when they'll be available is because of a few things. First of all, I don't know exactly when they're going to be ready. Fish, especially bettas, grow at different rates, so they're going to be ready when they're ready, pretty much. So I'm just waiting to see when they're large enough and their patterns have developed and I can be able to tell their genders apart, and then I'll, when I'll be comfortable finally being able to sell them is when they'll be probably ready. The other thing is, I won't be selling them all at the same time. I will be selling them in a couple groups at a time. So most likely, these guys will be the first ones that go on sale, a lot of the darker colored ones, and I need to feed them actually, so I need to take off the lids, which will be a good opportunity for me to show them to you anyways and give you an update. They're not ridiculously happy in the cups, but it does keep them safe from injuring each other, and they do have clean, filtered, and heated water, so it's not the end of the world. As you can see, some are actually making new bubble nests again. So this is everyone. Some of them are actually starting to change colors. Like that one was actually dark blue, and now that one's a different color. There's a cellophane. There's one koi. A very reddish koi right there. That one is starting to look a little orange, oddly enough. Then there's another darker baby that's lightening up for some reason. That one was actually completely like bluish dark. And now he's, I think, starting to turn cellophane. It's really weird how much the marbles keep switching around. And then there is my lovely black and white male, and I gotta feed these guys. So let me get some of their food. I'm feeding them today this stuff again. I want to try a couple different new types of foods to feed them, but this is pretty good. And then when I do, just do a little bit They get a few pellets each. I do need to put some Malaysian trumpet snails in the bottom of this tank, so that way if there's any uneaten food, they'll take care of it. But feeding these guys is not super exciting. Because they're babies, they still eat a tiny bit more than I would feed adult bettas. And they're still getting fed twice a day because of their fast metabolisms. So that's kind of how everyone is doing in here. I definitely will probably be selling these guys first, because I don't want them to be in these containers for too long, but it'll still be a while. It'll still be at least probably a month. So I let them grow out because they are still small. Some of them are big, like this guy is probably going to be ready quite fast. And I think this guy might go to someone that might breed him. He might go to a breeder. Because he has a nice thick body and he's nice and large and has very interesting koi patterns. I was considering keeping him, but I don't know. And then this one might be going very quickly too, these two, because they have quite large bodies. Another one that I need to probably jar would be this guy right there, because he's a little bossy and he's definitely a male. Give them a little more food. So that's kind of what's happening here. Everybody's doing well. They're growing really big. I'm hoping maybe some of the cellophanes will develop some koi patterns, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. This guy has really interesting eyes, because they're very dark on the outside, but they're light on the inside. He's definitely nippy, but he has a territory somewhere over there that he just retreats to after he eats. So after I feed him, he doesn't bother anyone, which is why I haven't moved him out yet. But a lot of these big ones are probably going to be the ones that will be first to go. And then a lot of the little ones, I'll give them more time to grow out. So that is kind of it for the update on all my fishies. They're all doing well, even these guys. What I am thinking about is getting those little tiny betta floating mirrors, and I'll put them in here in their cups, like one at a time, for like 2 to 3 minutes a day, so they get to flare at each other. That will give them some mental stimulation and some exercise so that they're not bored in these cups. I also want to get more of these clear dividers that I got from eBay, because with these guys, or I can drill holes in plexiglass. That might actually be cheaper. Because with this, it's more transparent, so they can see a lot better. So as I'm moving around doing things in the fish room, they'll look up and they watch me, and it gives them something to do, to observe. But they're doing well. I'm happy with how they're all growing. Focus, camera. That one has one dark eye and then one light eye. That one I think is turning orange, or something's happening, or he's going from koi to cellophane. I have no clue what's happening with this baby. Some of my darker ones are still kind of small, like that one is very small, but that one is a lot bigger, so that one for sure is going to be ready. And that one is actually blue. Okay, this is much better. So now you can see them a lot better. I could see them a lot better. You can see a lot of the different colors. Some of them have some stuff in there. I try to put things so they're not gonna be bored. Some of them are making bubble nests. Like, let me see. That one for sure is making a bubble nest. There's a bubble nest in there. That one was turning black, but now it's going cellophane, so I have no clue what is going on with this baby. A lot of them are still adjusting to this new setup. So that's kind of what's happening, and then, oh, flash on the baby betta fish. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to comment down in below what you think on the updates. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you already haven't. So that way you can see all the awesome videos I post. I post 3 videos a week, as well as bonus vlogs and random videos on my vlog channel. I hope that you have an awesome day, and I will see you on Monday. Bye, guys.